MC Prayer Shoot. Pete, take one.
Prayer is a real valuable asset that I feel as Christians we have to be able to communicate with God. So listening prayer is something that I've been involved with an organisation called FitFish. But one of the aspects is something called listening prayer, where we can have up to 3 members of team who meet with one of our guests, and we don't ask them what they want prayer for, but we gather around and we sit and think and just ponder for a moment and ask God to share with us what God has created this person to be. And just as we pause for just a few minutes and we just jot things down on a piece of paper, what I feel God has dropped into our heart, whether that be a word, a picture, a Bible verse, a song, whatever it is, it just kind of asks God to share with us. And then after we just pause for a moment, the team then take it in turns to share back what is written on the piece of paper. One of the examples through listening prayer was one lady who particular had come along. Again, I'd never met her before, and we did the listening prayer and we sat there and we paused. And one of the things that I wrote down was the thought that I felt that God was saying He wanted to dance with her, and I thought it was a bit strange. She didn't look like a typical dancer. She did, it was a bit case of, okay. But we've learned through this point, we write down what we feel God has shared with us, and then we share it back. And as I shared back that God wants to dance with her, this lady, just a tear trickled down her eye, down her cheek, and one of the other team members kind of went, oh, because they had also written down dance. And this lady, then after we'd all shared, she had opportunity to feed back to us what she thought. And she pulled out of her bag her diary, and 3 weeks previously she'd woken up in the early hours of the morning and she'd wrote in her diary how she felt that God was saying He wanted her to dance with Him. And she actually got out of bed at 3 a.m. and danced in her room, feeling God wanted to dance with her. And it was just like the confirmation of me saying God wants to dance with you was just an affirmation in her spirit that it was something true to her and real for her. It's no great big life-changing sort of experience, no direction, but it was actually a confirmation in her heart that she had heard God right on that moment, and that God was looking down on her and just smiling at her and just wanted to spend that time and moment with her. But I really believe God wants to speak to us as much as He wants us to speak to Him. And just sitting and pausing, getting yourself away to a quiet space, just withdrawing as Jesus did, withdrew to lonely places, just to give yourself space to cut off the noise of the everyday, turning off the phone, turning off the TV, whatever it is, to stop the distractions, to give us opportunity to God to speak to us and opening our heart to hear what He's got to say.